Welcome back to the Nerdman channel, guys. We have an interesting patent that's kind of shown up on the rumor mills lately, and it involves Olympus, which of course I use a lot of their gear, so naturally I am interested, especially since this one deals with astrophotography. First, let me give you the rundown summary. There's three things in this rumor. Number one, Olympus's or OM Systems is patenting basically an astro tracer type feature. It's a little bit more on steroids, probably a little more precise than the one designed by Pentax. The second thing is that this feature is actually going to integrate with the image stabilization of a lot of lenses. Okay, and then the third item that is brought out in this patent is that it will probably have the ability to combine and stack images for you in the actual process of doing the exposure, which sounds kind of cool, and maybe hearkening to some of the live time and live bulb features that Olympus already has in their cameras. Now, how much of that is actual speculation on the part of the rumor mills, like Petapixel here, we'll see here. I have a friend, his name is Lazy Geek, and he does astrophotography from his balcony in Tokyo. I'm going to email him this and see what he thinks of the patent and everything, because last time when this rumor came around, all the rumor mills got it completely wrong. The one that was done about 2 years ago, at least the rumor that went around about 2 years ago, it turned out that it was kind of more of a derotator for an alt-as type mount, which to me didn't sound very exciting because it still meant you had to like go buy a bunch of extra gear. Whereas this patent, though, if it is what these guys are saying it is a lot more exciting because it's not going to require any gear. You won't need a tracker like this guy right here. Now, I am going to lambast these guys because it is obvious that the guys at Petapixel don't know anything about astrophotography. They kind of jab at OM Systems because there aren't very many fast lenses with optical image stabilization. Well, let me tell you something about optics. Okay, now this right here, this is a 7 to 14 millimeter f2.8. This lens, you can actually use this lens wide open at all of its focal lengths. All right. This lens is a 17 millimeter f1.2. Now, right away, the amateur, the Petapixel guy here, would probably think that this would be a better lens because it's f1.2. Well, I'm sorry, you're wrong. This actually is an inferior lens to this guy, and that's because you have to stop this guy down about f4, and if you're really picky, f5.6 in order to get good looking stars out of it. And that, folks, is because astrophotography, if you don't know anything about it, is very, very, very hard on optics. Okay, it is the ultimate test of a lens to take a good astrophoto. All right. Now, I only have one lens that has optical image stabilization, and that is this guy, the 100 to 400. But I think that this is actually a really interesting thing, if it really does pan out to be what it is, because I know they talk about how like wide-angle lenses, there aren't any wide-angle lenses with image stabilization in them. Who cares? For the wide-angle lenses, it's actually not as big a deal. You can do much longer exposures with these to begin with. Telephoto lenses are the ones that are tough to do long exposures with, and with a lot more telephoto lenses having optical image stabilization built into them, essentially what it could mean is that the tracer function, which is moving the image sensor around to follow the stars, the amount of time that it could follow the stars could possibly be doubled, if not tripled, with certain types of lenses. So for the telephoto lens, I really think that that's kind of where this feature will be of interest and of value, you know, which once again is the guys at Petapixel. They don't know much about astrophotography, obviously, and so they're not going to know these things. And here's one more example I picked out. So this is a Rokinon 135 millimeter lens. This is an f2.2 cinema version. No astrophotographer, and this lens, by the way, is very popular in astrophotography. No astrophotographer uses this lens wide open. The f2.2 feature of it, we could care less about. If Rokinon came out with an identical lens to this that was f4, we would be happier to buy that than to spend the extra money on the speed in this guy. And the reason for that is because it is pretty much universally agreed that you have to stop this lens down to about f4 in order to get good stars in it. And some guys are pretty strict. They'll even go to f5.6. So that right there is, yeah, kind of a little bit of a nutshell just how hard this astrophotography thing is. But I'm kind of pretty excited about this little patent, I hope it kind of pans out, especially the part where, if it is what they're saying it is, where it's like actually stacking and combining the images for you rather than you have to do it on a computer separately, would be pretty cool. And of course also eliminating the need of a tracker. Now, a tracker like this, of course, is still going to get you further, but the cool thing about this is that any person, through maybe even just a firmware update to their camera, will be able to give astrophotography a try, and will be able to get more data in a single exposure time, which of course is exciting. Okay, so stay tuned for more. We'll see what the Lazy Geek says, because I'm going to definitely ask him about this.